Flosstube, welcome back. My name is Tina and I'm a 14 count Ada girl. If you too like 14 count Ada or just want to see what I'm up to on my 14 count Ada, stay tuned. I'd like to welcome back all of my returning viewers, and I'd like to welcome all my new viewers. If you are new here, please do hit the subscribe button and like button if you see something that you like. I do like to interact with my audience, so if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I will answer them. Today we have 23 whips that I have to go through, which is just about half of all of my whips. So we got a lot to do today, so we're gonna get right into it. Okay, the first thing I have to show today is Blue Rhapsody, which I have changed to Pink Rhapsody, as most of you know. And this is my Rosewood Manor. And this is where I am so far. I just got finished with the letter E. And I am working on this with some friends of mine at my LNS. Most of them are a lot farther than me. So, and that's number one. Number two, here we go, is Jack and Josie. And this is by Finally a Farm Girl. Oh, I gotta get a glare on that. I shouldn't take that on plastic, but that's okay. Aren't those just adorable? These little scarecrows, they're so cute. They remind me of Raggedy Ann and Andy, if you're old enough to remember who they are. So I'm just working on his little hat there. And then I put in a little bit of that white border right there. And that's what I've got started on that. I have changed all those to the DMC colors, and because they were done in Fancy Floss and I did them in DMC. This is done on a graceful gray is the color on that one. And the next one we have is a pattern by Sister Lou Stitches. And her name's Sarah. She's a good friend of mine. Hi, Sarah. And it's called An Act of Kindness. And it says, no matter how small, an act of kindness is never wasted. And it's just so, so cute. And I'm so enjoying stitching on this. And she has the cutest little patterns. They're all adorable. And you can find them on 1-2-3 Stitch. Look up Sister Lou Stitches, and I will put her name down below as well. And this is where I am so far. I'm working on a little umbrella. And it's got big blocks of color. If you like doing stuff with big blocks of color, it does have big blocks of color. So if you were a monogamous stitcher, this would go really quick. And next we have Our Hearts by Brenda Gervais with I Needle and Thread. And it says, your heart and my heart are very old friends. And I was stitching down here on, what was I stitching on? Let me look. This is done on Vintage Country Mocha. And it looks like I was just doing the secondary border down here. And that's where I am on that. Back a little bit. And you can also find all of these on my Instagram. If you want to take a close-up look at the photos, because I do take a photo of them every evening when I do them. And they are also on my Facebook page, which is 14 Count Ada Girl as well. They're all three of them are 14 Count Ada Girl. So YouTube, Flosstube, well, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So, but if you're watching, if you subscribe to the Instagram, the Facebook is the exact same. So you don't have to subscribe to two because you're going to see the exact same thing. I did it mostly because there was a lot of people told me they don't do Instagram, but they do Facebook, and vice versa. There were people who do one and don't do the other. So, so that's why I have two. Okay, next thing we have is Autumn by the Cricket Collection. And this is one of my favorite ones too. It is also done on that same vintage country mocha. And I have finally got the U done, the second U in Autumn. So there'll be a little back stitch on the pumpkin to come. He gets a little smiley face down there. And then I'm starting on there's a little moon that goes right here. And then we start the M. So this one's getting close to done. And after this one, I do have Summer all kitted up and ready to go. So Summer will be the next one that I do for that. And that is using regular DMC floss as well. And this one is Liberty's Welcome by Plum Street Samplers. If you haven't seen this one before. This is done in NPI silks. It's the first time I ever used silk, so I decided to try it. It was what was called for, but it does have a DMC equivalent. But I thought I'd try the silks, and the silks are nice. And she's a big girl, and she's getting really close to done. And some days it's really hard not to just go in and finish this one. So, and that's just done on a regular ivory. So this one definitely will be a finish for this year. I will probably make it, I usually work on each project 100 stitches every time I work on it. Minimum of 100, and then at the end of the month when I have finished everything, then I work on whatever I want to work on. So that one and Pet All the Dogs will probably be the two I try to concentrate on for the next 2 months, 3 months, and so I can get them done for the end of the year, because the two of them are just so close. That and they're Our Hearts by Brenda Gervais as well. She's really close to done as well, and so that may be another one that I try to concentrate on. So here we have Lila Studios Summer Quaker. And I was working on this with a Zoom group of friends called Crafts and Books. And it's run by a wonderful lady named Beth. Hi, Beth. And I will link her below as well. So here we go with Summer Quaker. And it is also done on just a regular ivory, and they are in regular DMC floss. I love doing the Quakers. They are just a lot of fun. So then we get to a bunch of my full coverage. I really love working on my full coverage. So when I start on a full coverage, you'll see I tend to work on them for a couple days on end because I really like them. Okay, this is a Heaven and Earth design. And the artwork is by Amy Stewart. And it is called The Stitching Shelf, or A Stitching Shelf. It is in the max color and the max size. So you can find that on the Heaven and Earth designs. And the thing I like about it, not only is it more of a rainbow color, but if you look, this is like your spring, summer, fall, and winter. And if you look into the photos, you can see how they show all of those. And they're really pretty. Now I am up here in this corner, so I do have just a few flowers, and I'm starting to get the darkness there. And I should be having the door here soon. So here I am with that, and I think it's coming out really, really nice. I do park my threads, and if you'd like to learn how to park, I do have a video on my channel showing that as well. The next one I have is Peaceful Tranquility by Artisy. The artwork is by Abraham Hunter. And I just love this beautiful autumn scene. This is where we are on it. And it would have gotten 100 stitches. Same as the stitching shelf. It would have also got 100 stitches. It's easy to keep a count on these. If you do want exact counts, they are on the Flosstube or the Instagram. And we have, this one came from Etsy, and it's a store called Addict to Cross Stitch. This is the name of the store right here, Addict to Cross Stitch. And it's a beautiful nativity scene. And she is a great big girl, as you can see. She's 700 wide by 520 high. All I have is a bunch of black right now. There's black. There's like 4 colors in here, though you can't see them all real well right now. So there's blacks and blues in there. And this is done on an ivory as well. And I do also grid my full coverage. And there is a gridding video on my channel as well. So that's where we are on that one. And this one is one of my viewers' favorites. This is also an Etsy design, and she is called Snow Owls at Winter Forest. And I have just reached into the little owl's head. I'm right down through here. I do stitch out a diagonal. This is by Fabric Arts Design, and I will link all of that below as well. This is just on a regular white. And here's the little owl coming through now. And I would have done this 100 stitches. So then I will do these 3 and then return back to the top. It's coming out so pretty, and I love the way these pine cones look. They look really good, not only on the camera, but they look really good even in person. And then the next one I have is a charting creations called Welcome Back to School. And the artwork is by Bonnie White. And I just love this old country time scene. And this would have also got 100 stitches. All full coverages get 100 stitches. They're, like I said, they're easy to count because they're gridded. This is on a pre-gridded Aida that I bought from AliExpress. It is a huge piece of Aida because it is that big. And we are moving right along. And I do have 2 complete rows all the way down to the bottom just to make sure I had enough Aida. And then I started doing the diagonal because I heard you get a better picture this way. You get more of the picture quicker. So I thought, well, I'll try it that way. So I've been doing that way for quite a while now. And the next one is Sunflower Farms, and this is by Corey Batacorey, which I'm probably butchering that like I do every week, but I'll show it to you so you can see it. And this is Sunflower Farms. And they do have a lot of these that are similar. They have like the Lavender Farm and a couple others. I can't recall all the names of them, but I did get it at 1-2-3 Stitch. I just love this little yellow house. And this little girl is so stinking cute that I had to stitch her first. I literally went up here and counted down to make sure that I could get to her first and just went like this. Whoop, whoop. So she is so cute. This one is stitched on a Bestitch Me fabric, and it's called Hot Cocoa. I was in her Brandy's Fabric of the Month Club, and this was one we got. I think this was in 23 or 22, I can't remember. It's so pretty, and I just love stitching on it. And that little girl, isn't she so stinking cute? Look at her. Oh. Courtney has already done some of the back stitch on this. And she is here helping me today. So this will go a little bit faster than if I had to do this by myself because there's a lot to go through today. And the next one is a long dog sampler. This is my first long dog sampler. I have not done one before. And this is called 1 Down, 3 Across. And the long dog samplers usually look really intimidating to me. So I went with this one because it didn't look as intimidating. And I did this on a regular blue that I bought off of Amazon. I don't have a name for it. I literally typed in 14 count Aida blue. And I took the first one that was up there. And so this is where I am on it. This gets some back stitch and stuff down here under here, which Courtney will be doing. This one is that same exact blue fabric. It's funny I did these back to back, but I bought a big piece of it, like a yard or something. So it's the exact same fabric that I had gotten off Amazon. And this was a 4-part series, and it was done by Tiny Modernist. And this is what the whole thing looks like. It's really, really cute. And I'm up here in part 1. I did have to buy all 4 parts, even though it's already completely out. You had to buy all 4 parts. And I'm over here in the Christmas tree section here. Courtney has already done some back stitch on this. So we have their little faces and their little coats and all the cute things, the stars and all the ornaments and the outline of the snow. And the next one I have is another Leela Studios Holiday Quaker. And I do have an error in this, and I was trying to kind of go around that error, but I'm really considering not going around it now. As I've had some viewers tell me, it might just be easier to go ahead and tear it out and move it. So this entire motif here is way too far over this way. So I think I'm going to tear it out and move it over. So I was just working down this way until I could figure out what I wanted to do with it. I'm sorry, down this way until I figure out what I wanted to do with it. But I think I'm going to, actually it would be this motif, wouldn't it? I'm sorry. It's this motif that's incorrect, and it's too far this way. And then, so I've worked down to here. I worked across here, found out this was wrong, and now I'm working down this way. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna just go ahead and tear it out and move it back over. Somehow I think it was only supposed to be like 10 or 12 spaces between here and here, and I have like 16. So it's quite the distance. So it really is gonna have to be torn out. So, or maybe even more than that, I can't remember. So at one point I'm gonna tear it out. So anyway, I was working on this part right here, down here. I will probably go ahead and continue to go around anyway, but that will come out. So I was working on this little, I think it's a church. Kind of looks like a church. Doesn't have a steeple on it, but it kind of looks like a church to me. So I was working on that part right there. And this is the one that is wrong. There's a large gap right here. So I'm probably just going to go ahead and pull it. And this is done on a 14 count Aida of Cuter. Okay. And the next thing we have is a Heartstring Sampler. His eye is on the sparrow. And this has like all the animals in it. So pretty. And it looks like a crowded mess to me. I don't know if it does you, but it kind of reminds me of the Long Dog Samplers, how it's just got so much going on. But when you're actually stitching it, there's lots of space in there. You really don't know it until you see it in person. I happened to see this one in person, and that's how I knew that I wouldn't mind actually stitching it. I thought everything was gonna be like super close like they are here. but they're not. This one I did on the actual called for, which is, oh, let me find its little sticker. I think it's wrapped up in this corner. Well, there's a lot of it, so it takes me a second to wrap it all. I feel it. Okay, this is on doubloon. It's a picture of this plus doubloon, and it's called for. And this is where I am on that. And you can see how big the animals and things are. So that would be right here. It's kind of hard to see both, isn't it? There we go. So, and I was working on this little cow. So he's coming right along. And our next project is Old Glory. And this is a rosewood banner. And this is also done on my vintage country mocha. I do love my vintage country mocha. That and my ivory, they're my favorites. And this flag is huge. I had no idea when we started this. Me and my friend Jenny started this. Jenny has since passed away, so I'm doing it on my own now. But we didn't realize how big these things really were. We were gonna split this into 12 months and do, you know, a flag a month, but oh, they're big. They are super, super big, and there's a lot of stitches in them, so that's not happening. So this is Old Glory by Rosewood Manor. And next we have Happy Stitching. And this one is by Sue Hillis Designs. This is on a DMC fabric that I bought at Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's, one of those big box stores. And I have the color of it listed somewhere. Sunset? Yes, Sunset. It is. They call it Sunset. I didn't find that actually on the little box thing that it comes in. But when I was looking it up online, because I was like, surely they give these things a name, but it wasn't on the box. And it was when they first started printing these. So I don't know if they're now on there, but this one is called Sunset. If you like, go look it up at like Joann's or Hobby Lobby, because I went and looked it up to see, and they actually call it Sunset online. So next full coverage project is the Army Emblem. My husband is a veteran. He did retire. So I've been working on this for him. Now this white right here is not stitched because it's done on white Ada. However, I think I'm going to stitch it in white because I think it will look better, personally. So this is where I am on that. And it too would have gotten 100 stitches. Another one I have gridded, and everything is in DMC floss unless I tell you otherwise. And we have down to our last few here. This is Autumn on the Farm by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And I started down here in the grass, and so I have been in the grass forever and ever now. And everybody's probably tired of seeing grass. But this time I put in part of this wheel just so I had my counting right, had to make sure everything was lining up correctly. So I do have in a tiny part of the wheel. So here we go, more grass and the tiny bit of the wheel. And this is also done on a vintage country mocha. All right, and this project, I have to pull up on my phone for you, is a brand new project for me. I bought it off of Etsy. Oh, let me see if I can get it to come up. Okay, 1 second. Oh, there it is. So this is the project. It is called Autum Porch. I will get a printout made of this. I just have not done it yet. And I'm doing this with a friend of mine named Candy. She was at the retreat I was just at, and I'm kind of teaching her how to do a full coverage. So, hi Candy. And I've only done 100 stitches in mine. So this is what it looks like. Let me see if it tells me who this is by. PDXGlow is the name of the shop. I will post that below. It's on Etsy. So here I have just put in nine squares here, and I've done the first square. So that's 100 stitches in your 10 by 10 grid. There was only a few colors in this, so it wasn't a terrible amount of confetti in this one. So this was really good for someone who's really wanting to start with full coverage, but doesn't want to deal with all that confetti. It has a lot of one solid color in it. And I have looked throughout the pattern. There are large blocks of one color, so it does make it handy. And this next one is called Welcome to the North Pole. It's by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And I guess its paper got left downstairs, but here we go. So most of you have probably seen this. I'm still way up here in Welcome to the North Pole. But I am almost done with it. I think I have one light left to do and a little couple dots of snow, and then I move on to the next set. Now there is one more light that goes right here, and then I have a dot or two of snow left, and then I get to move down. So we're moving along. And these I did do in DNC flosses. I did change the colors. These were done in fancy floss originally, and they do have the conversion for it. However, when I was looking at the conversion, a friend of mine was sitting next to me and she was doing them in the fancy floss, and I noticed mine really didn't look much like hers. I didn't care for their conversion. So she let me take her fancy floss out to the floor where we were cross stitching at our LNS, and I took them out there, and myself and an employee, hi Peter, we matched them all up to the DMCs we thought were closer. So if you need the conversion for this, I'm happy to share it with you. And that is all for the WIPs for the week. Actually, I think it was 2 weeks, but anyway, there was a lot. So the other thing I was going to talk about was I went to a retreat in North Carolina. My husband and I went in our RV, and we left on the 31st and we came back on the 7th. And we went to an RV retreat a stitching retreat in North Carolina. And it was hosted by Doreen of PriviesandPrimsNeedlecrafts. If you don't know who she is, I'll link her below. And hi, Doreen. So we had a really good time there. There's lots of food and lots of visiting. And there's Flosstubers. She's a Flosstuber by the way, also. I also got to meet Dottie, who is stitching Scotty here on Flosstube. If you know who she is, I will link her below as well. So that was a lot of fun. It's always fun getting to meet new Flosstubers and all my new friends. And a lot of these were old friends because I have been there last year as well. So it was good to meet everyone and see everyone again. The only downside of that whole trip was we all came home. Well, I won't say all of us. There was about 13 of us who came home with COVID. I was one of them. So yeah, we stayed extra. It was over, I think, on Friday. We stayed an extra day. We stayed Saturday and till Saturday, and then we came home. And while we were driving home, it was about 6 hours from when we left there to when we got home. And on the way home, I started feeling bad, and I said, I don't feel well. And my husband said, well, why don't you just go back in the back and lay down, which I never do. I usually sit up front with him. And I said, you know what, I think I'm going to. And I slept almost the entire ride home, the whole 6 hours. So he knew I was not feeling well. And so the next morning when I got up, I had read online that a few people had come home and tested positive for COVID. So I knew I had the COVID tests in my cabinet. So sure enough, Sunday morning I got up, I tested positive for COVID. Eric fortunately never got it, so he never had to deal with it. And I slept all day pretty much Sunday after taking the test. I was fine by Wednesday. It was just kind of like a bad cold. I had very little cough. It was mostly like runny nose and such. And I stayed away from people until the following Tuesday, which was the 17th. I just didn't want to take a chance on giving anything to anybody. And I was supposed to have my long arm delivered that week before. And I had to tell him not to bring my long arm, which was so hard. And so I didn't have him bring it, and then he did bring it on the 16th. So I guess I started seeing people on the 16th. So, and everybody since has gotten better. So glad to know everyone is better. I did get some happy mail this week, and so I was going to show it to you. I got this from a lovely viewer who no longer uses her 14 count. So this is what she sent me. All these pretty, beautiful Adas. These greens. Oh, here's some blue. This reminds me of that blue I was just showing. And I love all her color choices because they're the same kind of colors that I use in all of my projects. Then we have the blue here. And then we have some yellow back there. Oh, so much, Ada. Love it. Love it, love it. Thank you so much, Leanne. Appreciate it so much. She did say I could say her name. That looks like some pretty oatmeal-ish colors. That looks like some beautiful ivory that I love so much. Here's some fabric flare from Fat Quarter Shop. This is the thin board. It kind of looks like a pine board. It's called white pine board, thin white pine board. And here's another fabric flare from Fat Quarter Shop. And this one is called Gray Small Cobwebs. Look how cute that is. Here's some more. This is an ecru. I love my neutrals. And then she put a bunch of bookmarks in here. And here's some more Charles Craft. Looks like a ivory as well. So then I have all these bookmarks. So that'll be fun to make for people, maybe for Christmas or something. So thank you again, Leanne. I very much appreciate it. And that is all I have for you guys today. So I just want to say, if you have not yet so done so, please go get your mammograms. They are oh so very important. They could save your life. They did mine. So until next time, bye-bye.